While the sinking anesthetic is hollowing out, falls, let the psychotomimetic whole shadow your light.
You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In mix with the commish, Nate.
Hey now, thanks for tuning in to Press Pass Live here on a Sunday night. Let's get that music down just a little bit. A special Press Pass Live because, well, tomorrow morning I fly out to Nashville for the entire week. I will be back Thursday afternoon, and because of that, we needed to do a Press Pass Live. I am your founder and commish, Mr. Nate. Thanks for tuning in. Let me welcome in my co-host, my buddy, Commissioner of the Deuce, owner of the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Maniac. How you doing tonight, bud?
Doing one. Got a lot of stuff going on. You know, it's summertime blues in the OMFL. A lot of stuff. Everybody's out enjoying the sun and all this awful heat, man. But get excited to get in, talk about the OMFL, whatever else we're going to talk about off season or whatever. But looking forward to getting rolling on the show.
We got a couple of questions to answer, got a couple of games to break down. Your wife is ready to smack you because she's ready to watch The Chosen. I got to fly out. It's late. Let's jump right into it. Let's start with the AFC. The Denver Broncos fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-23. What a really good game here. I will just look at some quick team stats. I'm going to hand it off to you for some player stats. It looks like Denver falls just short with 7 points being scored by Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter, only 3 by Denver. Pretty good defensive game here overall. 198 passing yards to 264 from the Steelers. Only under 200 total rushing yards from both these teams. 71 from Pittsburgh, 102 for the Denver Broncos. 1 turnover each. Just a classic, good old-fashioned playoff game. 19-5. Time of possession to 23-5. It's a really close game between these two teams. What do you think about these players' stats and how this one played out?
Yeah, it's one of the better games from the wild card round. Both these guys came in kind of riding a good season coming in. I'm not saying like they were just doing spectacular and everything, but they were performing really well, and they'd done well in the season to end the season. Ty Robinson, he was cooking, man, for the Steelers. Young quarterback, big guy. He's 6'5", 220. He was actually really efficient this game, 15 of 22 for 68% completions. He was sacked 4 times, so the Broncos were getting after him. But he had 0 interceptions, 286 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And on the opposite side of that, looking at the Broncos, Clyde Quaker had a pretty efficient day. I mean, he was 12 of 19 for 63, but he had the 1 pick. And obviously, you know, when you lose a game by 1 point, you have to go back and look at the what ifs, and that's probably a what if there for the Broncos. Talking about the rushing, both guys look like they struggled to get any kind of real thing going with the offense on rushing attack, getting anybody solidified as the bell cow for this game. Javonte Williams did try his hand at being that guy. He had 18 carries for 79, 4.4 yards a carry, so not too bad, but only had the 1 touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, he was balled up all game long, 13
and their leading rusher
yards. Yeah. And he just couldn't get going. And we've saw the Steelers, the guys that he has on his backfield, McCaffrey, Spears, Clayton, all those guys are really good running backs. And, man, they were kept in check that entire game. They didn't even barely break 60 yards among all 3 of those guys. So a good job by the Broncos in their rushing defense. Looking at the receptions, Jahan Dotson, 4 catches, 104 yards, and a touchdown for the Steelers. He was kind of the big play guy for both sides of the ball. The Broncos' leading receiver in yardage was Noah Fant with 57 on 3 catches. Marvin Mims had 4 catches for 49. George Pickens didn't have a spectacular day, but he did get the 1 touchdown catch, so putting in some work there. And then the nice rookie for the Steelers, Curtis, only had 3 catches for 42. And then they just sprinkled that. Man, I'm talking like they sprinkled and spread the ball everywhere. There is a long list of guys that got a catch in this game. Looking at the defense and possibly who made the big impact in this game with the interception. But first, we're going to look at the tackles. Brandon Bryson, the strong safety, had 7 for the Broncos, the leading tackler. Kenny Moore, the second, also with 7 tackles. And then Joe Hayden, this right outside linebacker, he uses this guy a lot, and he is a problem. I look to see this guy probably making the jump over to the next Madden, so he's been a playmaker for the Steelers. Talking about those 4 sacks, let's see who got those sacks for the Broncos. Tracy Wilcox actually had 2 of those sacks from the defensive tackle spot. Bonito had 1.5. and then Browning had that other half sack there. Again, Madden math don't make any sense. So maybe those guys shared a triple sack or something out. Kerry Bush, though, the left outside linebacker, second-year player, did get the pick. And like I said, when you're looking at a game where it's decided with inches or plays, that was probably a big play in that game. So kudos to the Steelers, though, man, and the Broncos both. It was just a great game all around.
Madden's over 30 years old. We still can't get stats to add up just right. The Cincinnati Bengals, another 1-point game, fall to the Desperados 28-27. Just want to point out that Nate called this one. San Antonio, 15 points in the third quarter, ended up being the difference in this one. Cincinnati did their very best to hang in there. This is the opposite of the game that we just looked at. 115 rushing yards to 129, 288 passing yards to 283, 6 turnovers, 3 on each of the teams. Red zone percentage was pretty low, 40 and 60. Time of possession was pretty heavily towards the Desperados, who seemed to own it a little bit more there in the second half. And for whatever reason, the Desperados were a thorn in the Cincinnati Bengals side this year. They come away with a massive victory in Buddy Bowl number 3 for this season alone. What are we, 5 seasons deep? So I'll let you do the math. That's on 15 games for this entire cycle. These guys sort of kind of maybe know each other. What do you think about the player stats and how this one played out?
Yeah, I picked this one as well. In fact, my my AFC playoff tree is perfect. It's the NFC side that's giving me a little problems because of D-money. But, man, these guys did not disappoint. I think we called this game a really close game. Both of us did. And it just didn't disappoint us at all. Dry stick for the
Desperados.
I'm having a stroke here. Desperados. 18-26, 69%. He was sacked 4 times, though. 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. So these guys were kind of taking some chances. Hey, when you're playing your buddy, sometimes you might take a little bit of a more chance than you would in other games. So they were definitely taking some chances. 316 yards, though, for dry stick for the Desperados. Looking at Joe Burrow, the big man from LSU, 12 of 21. Didn't have as good of a day there with a completion percentage. Was sacked twice. Did throw 3 interceptions as well, but he did not match the touchdown of dry stick for the Desperados. So he only had 2 there. Looking at the rushing attack, these guys did a little bit better rushing the ball than the previous game. So
just a little.
The young guy, rookie out of Georgia, Bruce Allen, he's been a big contributor for the Desperados this season. 16 carries, 113 yards, 7 yards carry. Man, this guy was kind of all around moving the chain. So when you get in those short second, third downs, man, that's what you like to see when you're on offense. So man, he was getting the job done for them. Spencer McGee, we've seen this guy in this league for quite some time now. He's an import, and he's been putting up some big numbers for a long time. 12 for 99 yards. He's almost 100 yards. Come on, just one more yard. Give him one more yard. But anyway, he had a touchdown, and he definitely he is a touchdown machine. So not surprising to see him get a touchdown this game. Trey Morton, another young running back for the Desperados, 6 for 22, 3.7. So he's getting those backup carries for the Desperados. And then Kent, had to get a little action in there for the Bengals. Nick Chubb, though, the guys fell off the face of the earth. 1 carry, 5 yards. He used to be a monster. I'm probably going to see him next Madden for sure. Making the impact, but he's not making an impact in this playoff. Chase.
Only here will Maniac break down the stats of the 7th running back in the entire game, and then yell at me that he's got to hurry up. Maniac, you're killing me. You're killing me.
I know. I gotta stop. I can't stop. Jamar Chase, man, 6 carries, 6 receptions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Barkley, this guy has been performing and putting up numbers a lot. And so he got 7 for 107 and a touchdown. And the other guy, not only does Bruce Allen tote the rock, but he gets it done in the air too. 1 reception, 61 yards and a touchdown.
When in doubt, will it out. That's what Mr. Oh, geez, I just drew a total blank. What's his name? Baltimore Ravens. Holy cow.
Oh, Nips.
Golly. I'm having a stroke now.
yeah. He posted that in the chat quite a bit. When in doubt, will it out. So that was probably a will route. So we'll give Lil Koch a little rib there for that one. But no, it's good. So again, a lot of guys got catches. If I do like I did with the running plays, we'll be there all night just talking about who got the one catch for -6 yards. Andrews was the leading tackler for the Bengals, a middle linebacker. Good young player here for the Bengals, 11 tackles. And then for the Desperados, Mr. Harvey Jones, the rookie. Seems like these guys done really good in drafting. Look at their roster. Big time impact players that are young. He had 7, 1 for a tackle for a loss. Looking at the interceptions, Awuzie, he had the 2 picks for the Bengals, and then Turner also had 1. And let's see, Cameron Mitchell had 1 for the Desperados, and then 2 for Ward also. So both these guys, like we talked about, were kind of chunking the ball around and taking some chances, and so their DBs were feasting. But man, again, a great game, 1-point game. So both these games were really good games to watch.
Absolutely. We're 20 minutes in. We got 2 games done. We're making really good pace here. The Chargers, I think I called this one too, and I guess you did as well. I forget exactly, but they come out with a massive win, 44-31 over the New York Jets. New York scored 14 in the 4th quarter, but just not enough as they gave up 28 points in the second half. That is not what Kobe has been known for with that tremendous defense. The Jets actually led in everything offensively, 506 total yards, 201 rushing yards, 305 passing yards, 22 first downs. Technically 22 punt yards, which is leading. It was the 4 turnovers, though, that ended up getting him. Zach Wilson struggled today, and it showed as they lose big time to the San Diego Chargers. What'd you think about this one?
Definitely, when I called this one, I said that Kobe, we had talked about in the regular season, he had lost those 4 or 5 games in a row. We never saw that. Definitely showed signs of struggling. Either that be from being unplugged and just being busy, or whatever it was. Just didn't have a good vibe coming from the Jets going in the playoffs. So I'm gonna try to just touch on some hot stats. So, because again, like you said, if we're 20 minutes in and already done 2 games, man, this is going to be a 3-hour show. So, Zach Wilson, 3 touchdowns, but he had 3 picks also. Yeah. We've seen that he's had some struggles with the picks this season. I think that was ultimately the downfall.
51% completion percentage too.
Yeah, 51% is not going to cut it, especially in the playoffs, because that's where you're going to see those stats falter and fail you. He was sacked 3 times, and then Herbert was sacked a couple times as well, but a little bit better at taking care of the ball. Rushing, Hall, this guy really fell off the face of the earth this season, but he had 156 yards rushing in this game. Probably Might have should have stuck with him a little bit more. Looked like he was having some big time success, 75-yard long. So probably should have got him. But look at the Akers guy. We've talked about him a lot. Big time player for the Chargers and probably a difference maker in this game. 101 yards, 2 touchdowns on 20 carries. So getting the job done there, helping the Chargers advance in the next round. As you can see, some of the wide receiver stats. Garrett also had 104 for the Jets with a touchdown. But again, just some of those things with the quarterback throwing those picks just kind of cause a little bit of havoc and makes it real difficult to kind of sustain things on a drive. Your top tacklers, Bush, 9 tackles. He did have 2 for a loss. DeAndre Taylor had 9 for the Chargers. So both those guys were getting it done on the defensive side for their teams. Looking at some sacks. Nugent, the defensive tackle, a young guy from Georgia. He's really been a pretty big impact player this season. And then you're seeing him grow a little bit more, even in the playoffs. 2 sacks. Franklin Myers had 1 for the Jets. Looking at some interceptions, Derwin James Jr. had 1 for the Chargers. Bryce Hall, 1 also. And then Clark Phillips, again, getting 1. Former Falcon that I had to let go in the offseason. And he's making an impact for those Chargers. So good luck to him in the playoffs. But that's my rundown on. So I did it a little bit faster this time. So maybe there's
You
some
did
hope.
good. No, you did good. Another tight game here as we move to the divisional round. The Condors face the Steelers. The Chargers faces the Desperados. Condors with a 1-point victory over those Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think, go back and check, but I think I said it was not going to shock me if somehow, since he just turned it on, and man, he turned it on and he just barely came up short here. 7 points scored for Orlando in the second half, 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It just was going to be 1 point too sharp. A defensive game here, and it looks like Pittsburgh found themselves in a handful of defensive games. Again, Orlando owned the offensive side, 366 total, 123 rushing, 243 passing, 22 first downs, 476 total yards. But 4 turnovers as Pittsburgh forced 4 turnovers, only 1 turnover for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's up, Bill? Third down conversions went to them. Time of possession went to them, but Pittsburgh is going to come up just short in a really good game. That would have been a massive upset there. What'd you think about this one?
I got to watch a little bit of this game. He actually had the Condors on the ropes early on. Richardson was actually very off target early on in the game. I was throwing some picks, and I thought that could spell some trouble. But the Steelers were also equally having issues with their quarterback as well, not connecting on some easy throws that probably would have maybe continued some drives. And both these guys had identical 62% completion percentage in the game. The only thing was Robinson did not throw a touchdown pass, and he barely made it over 100 yards passing in the game. Richardson did turn it on later in the second quarter, and then also in the fourth, obviously. That's what kind of helped get the win there for the Condors. So he did have 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The rushing, we all expected this one to be one where maybe the Condors just blew out the Steelers here on the rushing attack. And they did get over 100 yards, but they were kind of running by committee here. Taylor had 58, Kennard had 53 and a touchdown. But I think the big shocker and the reason why the Steelers are now no longer in the playoffs, so just couldn't seem to get the rushing going for them. And McCaffrey, anytime you have a player like McCaffrey, 10 carries, 26 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns, was efficient in the red zone, but man, you can't solidify drives when you're only getting 26 yards on 10 carries. So that really hurt the Steelers. Likely.
What?
Likely had 7 receptions for 117
You good
yards.
over there? You just stopped and said, "Uh-oh." I was like, "Oh, you all right?"
Well, I just see that he has 7 catches and the nearest wide receiver has 4. So
Oh, I didn't pick up that likely was a tight end. You're right. Oh my God. Why? Why do we keep finding these games? Shame on you, Bronco man. You should know better. Golly.
that's the reason why I like Paul's like,
Yeah, I did. I was like, "Are you okay?" Yeah.
I'm stroking. Jerry Jeudy had 4.
Time out. I'm super surprised that didn't get turned in because I love my guy Cincy, but you fart wrong. He's turning you in, and to be fair, he's farted wrong and had been turned in, so I get it. But I'm surprised I didn't hear about this one.
Well, maybe the cool heads prevailed, and I did notice when I watched this game though, like the final drive likely was a big target, so maybe. But we'll just move on. So, Josh Downs had 4 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown. It's the end of this Madden cycle. Just do better. But a lot of spreading the ball around. I will say that there was a lot of spreading the ball around. Those 2 receivers did have 8 catches. Another guy, Foreman, had another catch. But the one thing I want to point out here, and then the Steelers, it seems like they, only on offense, it seemed like they really struggled. Like they couldn't even get the passing game going. They couldn't get the rushing game going. He showed that Curtis here had 5, but could not get anything going downfield. So that definitely hurts when the defense can play up tight within that 10 to 15 yard range, and it kind of showed in that game. Defense, moving on. Defense had 8 tackles here. Corey Trice, Jr. had 8. He had an interception as well. Hayden, again, the linebacker we're talking about, he had 8, 2 for tackles for a loss. He's just like all over the field. So he's going to be if you don't take him to the next Madden, it's going to be a shame. But the leading guy here for the Condors, Richie Grant, he's actually used to be a strong safety. He's moved to middle linebacker. He's been really active getting tackles and stuff, so 8 tackles, 2 for a loss. But overall, this was a great game, down to the wire. Both guys played really good defense, it looked like, from the stats.
You know the rules, and so do I. Say goodbye.
It just kind of is what it is. Chargers and Desperados. Desperados with a big-time victory here, man. They just keep that train rolling, playing tremendous defense, only allowing 17 points, 10 of them in the second half, and playing really good offense. Now, the Chargers tightened up in the second half. They just weren't able to get it going offensively fast enough. Pretty good rushing game between both these two teams, 107 to 105. The defense was playing outstanding, 155 passing yards to 197, 284 total yards to 343 in the OMFL. That's really, really good defense from both of these guys. Time of possession was pretty even, and the Desperados move on to their AFC Championship opportunity. What do you think about this one?
A really good game as well here. All these games, even the Jets game, they were all kind of close scores. But we see, like, from these other games, there's a little bit more defense happening in the playoffs. It seems like that's kind of what happens. Regular season, a lot of guys just like scoring points left and right down the field, and then playoffs come along and it kind of tightens up. Guys are playing better defense, not playing maybe as crazy or whatever. But Tri-Stick, man, this dude was on another level this game. 12 of 17, 70%, 2 touchdowns, only 161 yards, but man, he was so efficient and not turning the ball over, and just kind of driving the bus, man, that Desperado bus, and did a great job. Herbert only 51%. That's tough, and he was sacked 3 times, and he also had a pick and barely over 200 yards passing. So he struggled this game to get anything rolling, and that kind of hurt the bid to get to the championship game here for the Chargers. Allen, again, the all-world rookie, 83 yards, 15 carries, a touchdown. Akers not able to get the numbers that we've been accustomed seeing him have in this season. So he only 63 yards and a touchdown. But man, they did spread the ball around quite a bit on offense here as well. You see the catching. Frederickson, though, the big man, he's been one of the big pieces here for the Chargers all season long. Eight receptions, 147 yards, no touchdowns. These guys that the Desperados have, they're all short receivers, but man, they get open so well. We see it time and time again. 4 catches for Levi Mills, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. Barkley was kind of pretty much held in check in this game, 4 for 56. Nothing really of big significant value you see from the Chargers other than Frederickson getting it done on the receiving side. Skipping over to the defense. Tackles. Delpet. He had 9 for those Desperados.
Did you say Delpit?
Delpet?
Delpit. Grant Delpit.
Just Delpit.
From LSU.
Delpit.
He's actually from Texas, but he played in LSU.
Now, is that a French name or what? I don't know.
No, he's from Texas.
Just seems French.
I don't think so. I don't know. It's not like... I just know he's a great player for us. Anyway, we're losing track of time here.
9 tackles. And then Dell also had 8 for the Desperados, leading tackler for the Chargers. Taylor with 8, 2 for a loss. Sacks. Cannon had 1.5 for the Desperados. Ward getting it done also with a sack. And Bosa had 1 for the Chargers. But anyway, man, this game was another... all these games really could be submitted for classic games because they were so good leading up into the championship round.
Birdman said we need 2 shooters. Birdman, there ain't no way we'll be done by the time y'all are asleep. Okay, we're just now getting over to the AFC or the NFC side. That sets up Condors and San Diego Desperados. That should be a really good game that I think will happen sometime on Monday. Let's go over the NFC side.
The Condors are supposed to win that one on my thing.
Yeah,
so.
I think I called the Chargers were going to be in this game, so my mind's already all messed up. I'm pretty sure that's what mine was. I'd have to go back and see. We got the NFC side wild card. We got the Seahawks. I'm looking at the logo, say the name, and the Carolina Panthers. Our guy Bird. This one absolutely heartbreaking. I'm going to let you on this one talk team stats. I'll take player stats. We'll reverse it for the NFC. But, man, this one still hurts to think about.
Yeah, the Panthers really outperformed the Seahawks in pretty much every category except for the turnovers. And that's the one that you don't want to outperform the other team in. So, but 433 yards, man, for the Panthers, 361 for the Seahawks. 162 yards rushing for the Panthers, 88 for the Seahawks. Offensive passing, 271, 273 for Seahawks, 271 for the Panthers. So it's pretty much even down there. Both guys were getting a lot done on the first downs. 17 for the Panthers, 19 for the Seahawks. Talking about the turnover, the Panthers had the turnover. Third down conversion, 6-5, with the Panthers getting the nod on that one. Really, the other thing to look at here, the time of possession, 23 for the Panthers, 16 for the Seahawks. But, man, both these guys were putting up a lot of points in that fourth quarter. 19 for the Seahawks, 12 for the Carolina Panthers. And you see there the final score, Carolina coming up 1 point short. Man, this was I don't know if I've ever even witnessed any game like this. I think we had one similar to Trey and Dwayne a couple seasons ago.
We sure did. But it wasn't even this bad.
Yeah. This one was just wild.
Yeah, I was looking up something. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, sorry. I was trying to read something really fast, and I thought. Listen, Maniac usually talks for 20 minutes, so I thought I had plenty of time. So this one ended. Thought Maniac might say it, but this one ended on a rollout. Bird is playing defensive end, dives at the quarterback, misses him. The dude chunks it up after the numbers. 2 cornerbacks are near the 1 wide receiver. They both are just slightly behind. Ball perfectly placed right over the top of them. 2-toe tap, fingertip catch in the end zone, touchdown. Game over. Carolina Panthers win. It just Carolina Panthers. I would have broke every controller in my house. I'd have drove to my friend's house, broke his controllers, knocked on my neighbor's door, see if they had controllers. I'd have broke TV remotes, whatever kind of thing I could get my hand on. Bryce Young played outstanding. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 78%. White had no touchdowns up to that point. He was under the 65%. I think he was more around the 72 range for the season. He was at 61% for the game. 1 touchdown was the big play, and it was the long of 57. It wasn't even a short one. Najee Harris doing what he's done all season long, 115 yards and 1 touchdown. Walker had 3 touchdowns, but he was held under 40 yards for the game. Shark, 147. Watson for Seattle, 7 for 139, the 1 touchdown. Mingo, 4 for 71. I mean, Carolina did everything that you would expect them to be able to do, and the Seattle Seahawks just seemed like a man of destiny in this one. Striker Clements, a great player for them. 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 tackles on the day, and then the 1 interception for Tyreek Woolen. And the Pittsburgh, why do I keep saying that? It's stuck in my head now. The Seattle Seahawks with a 1-point victory. They're going to move on to play their buddy, the San Francisco 49ers. Your game, the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants. I know this one's going to be painful, but we got to talk about it. You gave up 30 points in the first 3 quarters. You didn't score until the 3rd quarter. This one sort of got away from you. Go ahead and talk about the team stats.
This one hurts. I want to cry a little bit, but I'll strengthen up here a little bit and push through. But man, Colin just took it to me, man. That's all I can say. 412 yards, man. Offense. There was no answer for his offense. He was just rolling. My offense only could muster up 264 rushing yards. Bijan was running for his life, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, even before he got the ball half the time. So, but great defense by the Giants. 232 passing yards to 195. Offensive first downs, though. This is what really drove me insane. The first half, I could not stop him on any of the second and third downs, always getting first downs, man. 19 of them in the game. Falcons could only muster 11, and probably most of those came on the final couple of drives in the game. Total yards, though, just dominated. Both guys, though, took care of the ball. We did not have any turnovers. The Falcons did not have any red zone offense to speak of. The Giants were 60%, getting 2 of them. 24 minutes of total time of possession to only 15. Just absolute total domination by the Giants.
Parker Cole played decent, 209, 2 touchdowns, under 50% completion percentage. That hurt. Charles Norris played outstanding as he has all season long. 66%, 3 touchdowns, 237 yards before he kind of laid off the gas. Barkley 16 for 104 and the 1 touchdown. Really, it was Bijan Robinson. He only had 9 for 45. And my assumption, I mean, you're here, you played this game, you just got behind and couldn't keep giving him the ball. And so that just wasn't able to happen. And it looks like we got another FPR break, I think. Oh no.
Yeah. I didn't get to the.
Oh
the
God. Okay, I got to keep going. Hyatt had 5 for 146 and 3 touchdowns. He really had his way when it came to that Atlanta Falcons defense. London, though, 3 for 73 and 2 touchdowns, did his very best to keep you in it. Defensively, which, again, I think Colin has done so great of just drafting and building a really, really good team here. 8 tackles from Damian Wayne here, his middle linebacker. 1 tackle for a loss. He kind of led the game. Thibodeau with the 2 sacks led the game. And then no interceptions from either of these teams, which was kind of surprising with a score like that. Now we're moving over to the Mounties. As close of the games were in the AFC side, you can see, well, they weren't so close here in the NFC side. Poor Bill ran up against the buzzsaw in the San Francisco 49ers and D-Money, getting completely shut out here, 37-0. I'll let you take the team stats. This one got away from him.
Yeah, it did, and he kind of had almost a similar experiences that I had in the wild card. Just total domination by the opposing team. 439 offensive yards gained to 85. Man, that's so lopsided. 193 offensive rushing yards, 49ers to 47. Passing yards 38 to 246. 24 first downs to 4. It just I feel
85
bad just
total yards. Like I'm trying to sit here, remain silent, let you do your thing here, but I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, it's a bad experience that I had. It wasn't.
That's the kind of game that make you want to quit. Like straight
Yeah,
up, just like I gotta find something else to do with my time. I'm gonna pick up knitting because this sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn how to play the guitar or the drums or something. But 27 time of possession, almost 28 to 12. I mean, just did not have a chance in this one. It's just like the 49ers were the All-American team versus the worst team you could ever imagine. But this is D-Money, man. So I'm kind of expecting this type of performance from D-Money going into the playoffs. He's tough.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this one. Poor Givens for the Mounties, 42%, 1 interception, 46 yards. Trey Lance over 80%, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pacheco, 83. Davis Price, 73. The top runner for the Mounties was 20 yards. Receiving, Debo had 122. Lambert had 5 for 67. I mean, the nearest guy for the Mounties was 14 yards on 1 reception. It's just complete and utter domination. And, they have just completely had their way in this one. I feel bad because Bill took over a team that was not built for him, and he got some momentum. He built that team. He got it going and just ran up against a really tough matchup. That leads us to the divisional round where the Cowboys with a 1-point victory over the New York Giants. I watched a little bit of this game. Super close game. Came down to the very wire. Almost went into overtime. The Giants scored 6 in the fourth quarter, only 3 from Dallas, 9 points total. So they lost it there in the middle, but they played really good defense there at the end. What'd you think about this one?
Yeah, this was a good game. Really, to be honest, like the Giants was right there, almost just on the cusp of getting the win on this game. Just didn't happen. Just things didn't fall correctly for them. Both guys were doing pretty good on the offense. Looking at the rushing attack, 96 for the Giants, 164 for the Cowboys. You expect that from the Cowboys. The Giants have been pretty good and balanced. So 289 passing yards, 330 for the Cowboys. First downs, pretty even, 17 for the Giants, 20 for the Cowboys. Looking at turnovers, the Giants actually won the turnover battle here. And usually when you win the turnover battle, a lot of the times you increase your chances of winning. Just did not happen. Third down conversions, man. The Cowboys converting 9 third downs for first downs. So the Giants got him in that position to stop him on third down that many times, but the Cowboys were able to convert those and keep drives going. So probably one of the deciding factors keeping things alive for the Cowboys. And then looking at the time possession, both pretty close, 22-32 for the Cowboys, 17-28 for the Giants. But, man, overall, man, this game was, looking at it, just a lot of points scored throughout the entirety of the game, first, second, third, fourth quarters. And the Giants actually outscoring the Cowboys there in the fourth, 6-3. But, man, just so close, just right there for Colin. And you have to give Colin a hand, though, for struggling through this entire cycle and putting together such a great last season to make a push.
Justin Fields getting it done for his team. I have been hard on Justin Fields, but he went almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, did throw 2 interceptions, was sacked 3 times, but was 68% completion percentage. Charles Norris hung with him, 306, 2 touchdowns, 63% completion percentage. Both of these quarterbacks are just dealing. Pollard, 15 for 98. Spider Mitchell had the 1 touchdown. Barkley had a 1 touchdown, but the the Cowboys defense played really good when it came to their run defense. Hyatt, 7 for 163 and 1 touchdown. Tyler Ben for the Cowboys, 5 for 157 and 2 touchdowns. We know how big of a play that guy can make. He averaged 18.6 yards after the catch. CD Lamb, 8 for 142. So big-time receivers putting up big-time running yard or passing yard reception numbers. Geez, my mind, it's like, hey, it's late, go to bed. You got to fly early in the morning. Damian Wayne, 13 tackles on the day and 1 for a loss. Your sack leader was Thibodeau again with 2, but Parsons getting it done. Your defensive MVP for 1.5 sacks, and then 1 interception from Bates. Yes, we know, Atlanta Falcon. Madison, 1 interception, and Gilmore. I don't know how Gilmore still gets it done at his advanced age, but he does it for the Cowboys. And that moves the Cowboys on to the NFC Championship game, which leads us to the last divisional round. The Seattle Seahawks fall to the San Francisco 49ers, 38-28. These guys split during the regular season. I want to say both of them were pretty close games. In Seattle, man, it's just hard to play a team this many times at that level. And even though you're playing at home, these are 2 top-notch owners. And Meek, in any other league, has probably got multiple championships under his belt. And here, he's just barely coming up short time and time again. What'd you think about this game?
Yeah, this was a good game, too. Really, it kind of got away from Seattle late. As you see, the 49ers scored 14 points in the fourth. It was kind of back and forth in the first half. It looked like Seattle kind of got a little bit of a footing at one point. I think he had scored first in the third, so it looked like he was going to possibly take control. And then the 49ers just kind of started rolling, doing their thing. So 393 yards gain for the 49ers, 399, so pretty close to the same. Where they get the discrepancy, really big difference here is 201 yards rushing for the 49ers to 68 for the Seattle Seahawks. The passing, 192 for the 49ers, 331 for the Seahawks. So White getting it done for the quarterback there for the Seahawks. 23 first downs, so for the 49ers to 17. Turnovers, you just, anytime you turn the ball over that many times, it's probably not a good sign, and probably kind of helped along with you not getting to advance. Third down conversions both had 5. Red zone. This is where you see the 49ers take the stranglehold. 80%, 4 touchdowns in the red zone. Seahawks, 33%, only 1 touchdown, 1 field goal. That's where the 49ers make their money. 23 for time of possession, 16 for the Seahawks. But, man, it was a really good game, even though it shows that the 49ers won by 10. Both guys played really well. It was a good game to watch.
Yeah, the 49ers just run the ball so well. And Trey Lance, you can see it here, so efficient. They remind me of the Dallas Cowboys, which is why this next matchup is probably going to be a close game. Turnovers are going to be so key. Red zone percentage and red zone defense is going to be so key. But in this game, Brad White did his very best to keep this team going. 52% was a struggle, but 340 yards and 3 touchdowns is pretty good. Did throw the 3 picks, and that is absolutely why they lost the game. Pacheco, 136 rushing yards. Davis, 67. Walker, only 41. You can see that San Francisco run defense this entire playoffs absolutely shutting people down. Christian Watson, 133 and 3 touchdowns. Smith Najabia, I don't know. He had 6 for 130. Samuel and Lambert were both held under 60, but they both did have touchdowns on the day. And then looking at the defense really quick, Love and Averill both with 10 tackles on the day. The 1 sack came from Robert Beal Jr. I thought he played basketball, just joking. And then a bunch of interceptions. Averill, Murray, Pouncey, Ward, each getting some interceptions. And the mighty San Francisco 49ers move on, just kind of steamrolling people throughout these playoffs. And it sets up a massive matchup. Might be, I don't know if I'm right about this, but might be the first one of this cycle. But we have seen this game multiple times. The San Francisco 49ers have overall owned this series, and they're going to match up against the mighty Dallas Cowboys. Condors, Desperados, I think that takes place tomorrow. Cowboys, 49ers may also take place tomorrow. And then the bowl game at minimum cannot happen until Friday night or Saturday or Sunday, because I'm out and we got to call it. And so hopefully Maniac can be around and we can get this thing called. All right, before we get out of here, let's open up the mailbag. Pretty entertaining playoffs so far, Mr. Maniac. And the mailbag questions that we didn't get to were all about Madden 25. Bronco Man says, if you were an EA dev, what is the one thing you would do to improve the game, whether it be adding or removing something? What would be your first order of business? What do you think about this one? I think NCAA is doing some interesting things, but the problem is we haven't actually touched that game either. And so, yeah, I don't know. What kind of comes to mind?
I mean, once you get faced with that question, you're kind of like, what would I do? I think ultimately, probably the first thing I would do, I would say, okay, we've got to revamp the franchise. It's been the same thing
for a long time,
for the last 15 years since Madden 05. That was the best one, I think. And so that would probably be my first order, and that might be like, okay, we can't move on to anything else until we get this done, until we see some kind of new advancement or something where we could bring freshness to this mode, because I don't know, like you said, it's just been a long time. It's the same thing. Nothing's changed really. You get a little few things here and there, and nothing really. I mean, we got a few extra things a couple years ago, and they took them away because they were not working right. So that's just been the whole bug thing with Madden. They add something, they have to take it away because it breaks the game. So, that would be where I'd start. It'd be somewhere in the franchise, even if it was like, okay, guys, we got to rebuild it from the ground up, the franchise, and get this thing going. Because, I
Yeah,
don't know. That's a loaded question.
my head went to the same place. I would also say like my knee jerk was like get rid of abilities. I'm interested to see how NCAA is doing these new stackable abilities and see if that's any better. My knee jerk would be to revamp passing. Again, interested to see how NCAA does the passing. And so I would say two things that we used to have that we should have and don't make sense that we don't have would be coin toss. Like, why are we not having a coin toss? I know it seems stupid and insignificant, but like it's immersion. Like, give us a coin toss and then bring back the pre highlight, post highlight, halftime highlight. Give us those old ESPN style shows where we would get the highlights from every game and the stats from every game with a commentator. Like, that was just immersion. Like, that made you want to continue to play these games. Bill says, this may be more for Nate, but what are your very early impressions on Madden 25 gameplay and presentation?
Oh.
We talked a little bit about this on our Madden Reveal show that we did earlier this week, but I would say overall the game feels really smooth. It's just they gave us a really glitchy beta. And so it's like you get caught up in stupid little glitchy things. I'm hoping the second phase of it, they open it up to more people and that they fix all the like play art glitch and the stupid little glitchy things that happen. And hopefully more people get their hands on the beta so that we can play some head-to-head. I was only playing the CPU. Overall, the new animations feel great. Pass blocking feels great. Running feels really good. Passing feels the same. It doesn't feel really any better. Defense, a slight improvement. I still think they take really bad angles sometimes, and mixed with the new run mechanisms, it may get out of hand as we start playing user versus user games. We just have to wait and see. Overall, it feels good. It's just everything that they've done to get here has undone the pretty good work that the game feels. It feels like the game is the next step, the next iteration of the new console Madden. The issue is from reveal trailer coming out a week after the beta has dropped, a limited beta, a glitchy beta, a terrible reveal, no deep dives, no excitement, no. It's just terrible. They've just undone all the good work that they could have already done with that game.
Shame, Madden.
Let's move over to Joker after playing the beta, which I understand is just a beta. Nate, do you see any rule changes coming to the OMFL? You are looking at some possible just like knowledge of NCAA mixing some things up. I actually looked that over and sent you some comments today. And at the same time, I took some notes on our own personal OMFL rule set. I think you're going to see some minor tweaks. Me and the board will have, or the board and I should say, proper English here, will have discussions around switch. Every Madden have discussions around switch. Do we go back? Do we go to one switch while the ball's not in the air? Do we stay with what we have? Like I'm constantly having that conversation with the board. And then I've made some minor tweaks to some rules, like, just some minor things. We're going to review the tight end catch rule again. I think that's just never going to get solved. It's just never, just the way, that's what get lost from real life players to NFL. It just never is going to translate. You're never going to have that perfect solution. It just is what it is. And I'm going to keep pushing as a maniac. He's pushing me even further than I'm sometimes comfortable. I'm going to keep pushing about how can we have the least amount of rules so people can say they didn't not know them, open up gameplay so we just play ball and just stop with the, petty stuff. But then two things have happened in the last 48 hours. One owner, who I will not say his name because I love him to death, said, I don't know any of the rules. And I was like, how? I don't even know what to say about that. I was like, can you please just at least read them? Love the human, but that just sucked to hear because he's one of the better owners here. And I get it. Just he plays in a way that keeps him from avoiding most rules, but there's no way that he plays perfect. None of us do. And then a conversation I was having during the show where it's just like, it was a mistake. I didn't look. I forgot. It's just like, the more rules you have, the more stuff people have to remember. And this is supposed to be fun and fair, and that's hard to balance. So I'm constantly looking at nothing off the top of my head, Joker, but we will constantly look, and I don't foresee anything massive. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I just think, like you said, I think like trying to get rules where it's not like, like, okay, I've got to have a Rolodex in my brain. Like, I can't do this, that. I can do this. It should be like you want it to be where it's natural and it doesn't hinder both guys. But you also the thing about being a commish or someone that's like in charge of helping make rules or whatever, you want it to be fair for everybody too, and unfortunately, like we've talked about so many times, guys find loopholes in things and exploit them. Just stop exploiting stuff, and that's the big thing. I mean, if guys are running certain things and you run it every third down because you know it's going to work, stop. Do I don't. That's just like the most simplistic like explanation from
And
my brain.
Almost every rule break proves the point of why there's a rule there. Like, again, you said it in the Orlando Pittsburgh game. Guy breaks the tight end catch rule, and it's because he abused it on the drive to win the game. And it's like, that's why the rule's there, because it's too easy. We're trying to make you play strategic and not just do the easy stuff that can't be stopped. And we have games that are 85-80. It's just like, yeah, every rule break usually shows why the rule was there in the first place. And in a perfect world, guys wouldn't abuse things, but Maniac, you and I both know that it's always going to happen. The competitive juices take over, and guys they just go to what works for their team, what works for them. And if they can like find any loophole or way to get around things and still get the outcome that they want, they'll do it. So it's what it is. Maniac, give us one final closing thought. And yeah, we said we were going to be quick, but we went over an hour, so your wife is going to be pissed.
If I don't answer within the next 24 hours, send out the Mounties. Great show, man. Excited to see how the playoffs. Man, if it wasn't for the stinking 49ers, my playoff bracket right now at this point would be perfect. This is kind of working out the way I thought. I really thought the Seahawks would defeat him, but again, when D-Money, and I've said it this so many times before, when D-Money decides he wants to show up and prove something, more than likely 9 out of 10 times it's going to happen the way D-Money wants it to happen. He's just a good player, man. And I'm excited personally to get this Madden over with, this cycle over with, start looking towards the new cycle. I got my invite back for next Madden, so I'm excited. But I'm also looking forward to NCAA, those things that are coming up. I think NCAA tomorrow will be 22 days away, so it's coming quick. Just all around, just I love this community. I love you. You're my brother, and I just want to do whatever I can to help make this a great place to play and enjoy for not only myself, but for you and the rest of the community. It's just a great place to be. If you got a problem with this place, move on. I mean, and sometimes it takes for you to move on to realize that if you're in that position, what you're missing, and then you can get back, a few months down the road and still come back or whatever. But just perspective, I just think this place is awesome, and I'm so proud and glad and honored to be a part of it.
Me too. You guys make it the best, and it's been an awesome cycle as we come to a close here. I'm ready to go call this championship game, then do something fun for our last draft as we get ready for that to take place. I'm off tomorrow to Nashville for a week. Pretty nervous about it, and you know, it's all new for me. So a new position and new people, and sort of first time where I get to go figure some of what my next year is going to look like. So a little nervous about it. I hate being gone from the house. This is my safe zone. This is my safe place. Just like anybody, traveling's fun, but I hate traveling alone, and it is what it is. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to hit the sack. Maniac's going to go watch this show with his wife. I appreciate you, Maniac, for making some time on a Sunday. He and I are going to talk this week about a new time for Press Pass Live because we may have to move it. We got to figure that out. It's hard, but we're going to keep moving schedule. And Pootie and Bird, sorry that we couldn't come join you tonight, but it's way past my bedtime for a 5 a.m. Call to the airport. All right, Mr. Maniac, appreciate you. Love you. Guys, thank you for a great season. Good luck to the Desperados and Little Koch, Bronco Man and his Condors, D. Wayne and those Dallas Cowboys, and D. Money and those 49ers. Can't wait to see which one of you make it to the championship game for season 110. We're going to have some fun. And then when that's all over, we're going to do some giveaways for NCAA, do something fun and cool for the community, and hopefully get some excitement built since clearly EA couldn't do it for Madden. Guys, remember, you matter. You take care of yourself. Take care of those around you. I love you, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Till then, peace.
Deuces.
Smash that like and subscribe.